Welcome to the week of September 8th. We're coming off of a weekend of some really good racing as the temperatures have dropped, fitness has increased, lots of encouraging signs. I'll have all those details in the newsletter, but I'm looking forward to those of you who haven't raced since we've gotten a little bit better weather to do so. I know we have some more racing this weekend and over the next couple of weeks before we hit the Indy Half Marathon, 10K and 5K at the beginning of October. So let's keep it rolling. For those of you not racing this week, here's how the week looks. We start with a high quality workout of a Predator run. A Predator run is a progression run, but it's higher octane because we're finishing at as hard as you can go for the last mile. And we work into that by thinking inversely. So we're just going to plan that workout thinking, I think I can close at this pace. Now, if I back up for however many miles I have planned for this Predator run, and I'm going to try to get 5 to 10 seconds faster or 5 to 10 beats higher each mile, where does that land me? Maybe over a 4-mile Predator run. And it might not come out exactly to that, but that gives you a little bit of a guideline to start with, because that's the hard part with this Predator run. We certainly know how to go as hard as we can go. How do you do that in small enough increments that's really beneficial? If we're seeing 30-second per mile jumps in each of those miles, the first couple miles weren't all that beneficial. So we want to keep it relatively tight. Now, of course, let's say you're going to end at 5:30 pace and you think you're going to start at 6. Okay. Going from 6 to 5:50 might not be all that difficult. Going from 5:50 to 5:40, now that's harder. Going from 5:40 to 5:35 is even harder because now you have a couple of quality miles, and then getting that last mile at 5:30 might be real difficult. And that's kind of the point of the workout. So think about that. We want the training effect first and foremost. If we have nice, neat splits, that's great, but we're not as concerned about that. Some miles actually may get slower. You might be under more stress, but maybe you hit a hill in that mile, or you just need a little bit more recovery because you hit one a little bit too hard. Whatever the case may be, if you're using heart rate, which is a great tool on this one, going up 10 beats after the first mile is no problem. Getting another 5 over the last mile or two, maybe. So some of you have a 3-mile version of this, some of you have a 5-mile version of this, but kind of plan that ahead, and that's going to be beneficial. But generally, it's a progression run ending as hard as you can go, and we want to keep that as tight so we're getting the most benefit from the number of miles that you're doing those. Have an uh-oh plan. You're planning on 4 of these. You get through mile 2 and you're thinking, I think I have one more gear change in me. I think I can hold on for one more mile and go a little bit faster, but the workout was planned for 4. That's fine. Go as hard as you can for 3, but then control the 4th mile. And what I like to do is just look at my watch, and let's say I'm at a heart rate of 168. Okay, I gotta go one more minute because I'm cooked here. I can't increase this mile. I have to go one more minute, keep my heart rate above 165. And then that minute goes, okay, now I have to go one more minute, keep it above 160, and then above 155. And what will happen at some point, usually in the first minute or two, is because I've backed off and I'm not pressing on the gas quite as hard, because I've given myself permission to ease off, I get recovered, and maybe I can go a little bit faster the rest of that mile. Maybe it's not faster than the previous mile, maybe it is, but a little bit of recovery and controlling that will help. It's a very key skill to have, because in racing, you might get to a point and you go, I don't have that many miles left in me. I'm at 18, I don't have 8 more miles of this in me. But can you recover and maybe slow down 15, 20, 30 seconds over that 8 miles rather than just throwing in the towel and saying, I can't do it, I quit? Huge. So anytime that we can rehearse racing in a workout, we want to do that. So manage that. If you get overcooked, there is some validity for me to write this workout as go out and go as hard as you can for 3, and then let's see what you can do in 4. That's not how we're planning it, but if it turns out to be that way, embrace it, because that is great training. It's great mental and physical training of How little can I back off and get recovered and then still finish hard and manage my losses, so to speak. As I say with a lot of workouts, the warm-up is key because we want to be ready to go in that first mile. If you're not warmed up appropriately, that first mile takes more of a toll than it should. And even though the second mile should be faster, maybe it's a little bit too hard because you're recovering from the first mile, which wasn't all that fast. So get a good warm-up, practice your race day warm-up, for below half marathon, because once we get to half marathon, we're not doing a whole lot of warm-up. And for some of you, when we get to marathon, we're not doing any warm-up. So practice that, make sure that you have that down. Moderate quality workout this week, one that we use with some frequency, continuous hills. They're just great benefit to this, and it's a very simple workout. The most difficult thing about this workout is probably finding a good hill, but whatever you have, use it. As I always say, if you can't find a great hill, you just have to run these faster on lesser of a hill. But we're accumulating time. Most of you have 20 to 30 minutes of total time going up and down a hill. You can break that down into 10 minutes on this hill, 10 minutes this hill, 10 minutes this hill, or you can just go 30 minutes straight, and that's fine. And this is beneficial going up and down. Going uphill, obviously we're building some power, we're building strength. It's attributed to Frank Short, I'm sure other people have said it too. He said hill running is strength training in disguise, and it certainly is. You know, if you've been running on hills, you get stronger, and even if your race course is flat, it's beneficial to have run those hills. So going uphill, strength training, we're getting some at least stamina time, if not some economy time, depending on how hard you hit this. It is a moderate quality workout. We're managing what we have after that 2 days later, and we're also managing what we need to have for the long run. It is the third most important workout of the week, so manage it that way. But if you're feeling good, there's no reason to take it too easy. So hit the uphills with a little bit of effort, but if you don't have it that day, just getting up and down the hill is going to be beneficial. Coming down the hill is neuromuscular training. Unless it's completely jogging, you're going to get some neuromuscular conditioning, also known as speed. So that will be beneficial. Even when you feel like you're jogging down a hill, sometimes you'd be surprised what the pace may be. This also correlates to what happens in your legs in a longer race. It's the eccentric contraction. It's the running downhill. It's the landing that is the painful part. You might be losing power, so when you push off, it might not be with the same amount of force, so your stride might be getting shorter, but the coming down is the part that we need to train, and that's another benefit of hill running, even on flat courses. Think about jumping. When you jump up, yes, that's the power. That's where you show off. That's where you reach. How high can I hit? Can I get the rim? Can I dunk? Whatever that measurement of that jump is. And there is some benefit to just going out and jumping. But when you jump, okay, that's the power going up. But what's the painful part? It's the landing. And you learn pretty quickly how to land as softly as possible. We also do that in running. But after 90 jumps, basically a minute on each leg, as we're going through a marathon, and now you have a couple of hours of that muscular fatigue, that muscular damage is building, and that's why the last couple of miles get difficult. So there's a lot of things that go into such a seemingly simple workout. So embrace that, give it your best shot. I know some of you do this around Butler, and there's some really great hills there that you're killing. Maybe a little bit too much sometimes, but it's an important workout, so take it seriously. But it should be simple, it should be fun, because it's broken down into so many segments. It's pretty enjoyable. On your watch, no, you don't have to split these. This is one that I just look at the graph and I see the nice up and down, and that's really all that we need, especially because some of your hills might be shorter than others. Going into the long run, building blocks long run. This wasn't necessarily by design, but I wanted both of these workouts in the same week. So we have a progression over here with the Predator run. We also have a progression with the building blocks run. Obviously, when we're doing a 3 to 5 mile predator run, you can get faster for 3 to 5 consecutive miles. When we're doing a long run, and some of you might have somewhere in the middle, 3 times 3 miles, so 9 mile total of progression, it's pretty hard to get faster 9 consecutive miles without starting way too slow. So we put this one in blocks, and most of you, depending on your total mileage, it's written in 3 blocks of 2 to 4 miles for most people. So just think about that. Okay, I'm warming up as I normally would for a long run. I'm going into this first block. I'm gonna go a little bit faster than long run pace or long run effort. And then the next block, a little bit more, and the last block, even a little bit more. And then cooling down at hopefully normal long run pace. So it could be a little bit slower because you've done some work. Overall, we want your average to be faster, in part because for most of you, this long run is going to be shorter than where you're at with your endurance long runs. If you've built to 14, 16, 20, whatever, we're pulling this one back to maybe as little as 8, 10, 12, 14. So we're dropping that mileage, but we still want good training effect. So think about that as you're doing this. We do want to average a little bit faster in those blocks. We want to go faster each block, but it might just be harder. What's your course like? What is the weather like? How are your legs feeling? All of those things, just give it a little bit more effort. And if we're seeing heart rate go up, you're having to focus more, even if you just held pace or even slow down a little bit, we got the training effect, and that's always the most important thing, okay? This workout is simulating the later miles in a marathon or half marathon. There's that point in a half marathon that it's pretty easy. Certainly for a marathon, there should be physically some pretty easy miles. Now, what happens is those pretty easy miles sometimes aren't all that easy because of the mental stress of what you know is to come. So you can't really enjoy those miles. But if it was just a training run, it'd be, oh, this is no problem. I can do this for a while. So we have those. And then we get into the, this is race day. At some point, this is going to get difficult. And then we have that point where it is difficult. It is requiring effort. It is requiring focus. It is requiring you to remind yourself of all the choices that you made to be ready for this so you don't give in. And then there's that part at the end where it's everything that you have. This is more that point where, okay, it's hard now. So we don't want to be feeling like this is the last couple miles of a half or a marathon, but we want to feel like, okay, this is kind of the business end, the business half of the longer race, and we can simulate that. And obviously good mentally, but also teaching your legs, okay, we're fatigued, but we're still going to do our job. We're still going to push off with enough force that we can get that stride length to maintain pace, if not go a little bit faster. So a good combination of workouts here that are preparing you for the important races that are soon to come.